Boom! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is it? Yeah, it's Wednesday now? Yeah, happy Wednesday to you all. Welcome to another live beer review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another beer from a local brewery of mine. I always like looking at local stuff because I always love supporting local. And this brewery specifically, I think, when I used to work at the job I had working at an electrical distributor, these guys were actually not even a couple blocks away from where I work. So I was down there every once in a while enjoying their stuff. And they were always like a smaller brewery. But as of recently, I would say within the last 2-3 months, their distribution has gotten very, very heavy when it comes to having availability in any liquor store or bottle shop I find around me. So that is very, very exciting because today we got one here from Mikerphone Brewing, and this one is their special sauce. I guess this is the original, which is it's a single hop New England IPA. I believe this guy comes into an 8.5% ABV, which 8.5%, and it's a single hops, which I think are always really, really nice. You don't have to worry about a lot of complexity, even though some of the hops that they decide to use sometimes has a decent amount of complexity to it. Of course, this one's just Mosaic hops, so it's a really, really nice hops to use for a nice New England IPA. And, of course, I wasn't going to pick this one up because it just said special sauce, and, I'm the sauce. So I thought it was fitting. And I really like just this can art, too, because a lot of times when Mikerphone comes out with something, they do a lot of their stuff is music-based. So with that saxophone having almost kind of a chemistry experiment getting poured into it and having all those colors, I just think that is really, really cool. Plus, Mikerphone's branding and how they market their beers has always been really, really nice. So I'm pretty damn excited to give this one a try. And of course, what I really love is their slogan is craft beer inspired by music, which I'm a huge music guy. So if I can support a brewery that pretty much makes their entire business revolving around music, I'm definitely going to support these guys and give these guys their proper reviews and drink some of their beers. So, yeah, I'm pretty damn excited to give this one a try. 8.5%. I love double New England hazy IPAs. I just think they're probably the New England IPA is probably my favorite style of IPA, to be honest. So, being able to drink one of these is always going to be a nice little treat. So let's crack this guy open and see what we get on the nose with this guy. Let's see. Oh yeah, tropical fruit. Pretty much knew what I was getting with Mosaic hops. You get a nice kind of mixture of tropical fruit. Sometimes they say you get a little bit of strawberry kind of hints to it. Definitely getting tropical. A little bit of I don't know if that's I can't really tell what tropical fruit that is. But it's definitely tropical. You can definitely see there's a nice kind of dank hoppy note coming through it, which I think is really, really nice. So yeah, I don't know what kind of tropical fruit I'm getting from this one. This is going to be interesting. So, of course, I'm expecting this to have a nice hazy kind of color. I'm not sure if it's going to be more in the color of orange juice or it might have more of a golden kind of haze to it. But yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely delicious. Knowing that it's a double, I'm expecting to maybe have it lean towards more of that golden, maybe a little bit of that orange juicy kind of haze to it, but who knows. Going to be drinking this out of my Heart of the North glass this afternoon, so let's pour this guy and see what this thing's all about. Definitely hazy, that's for sure. Yep, so we're starting to get more of that golden color coming through. A little bit ahead, but not too much. And yeah, this is looking absolutely delicious if I say so myself. Almost, it was cutting it pretty damn close there on the pour, but that's okay. Look at that. Nice golden color to it. Almost reminds me of more of a murkiness instead of your normal hazy IPA. But definitely getting a lot of dank hoppy notes coming through that give me cannabis-like characteristics, which Mosaic hops definitely does bring off. A little bit of a fruitiness, but not too crazy. Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty damn solid. I love higher ABV IPAs. I think they have a really nice sweetness to them. So hopefully this one kind of delivers in that aspect as well. So, cheers, everybody! Happy Wednesday. Okay. Okay, so there's definitely the dank kind of hoppy characteristics are very, very upfront. They're very, it's almost herbal, even though Mosaic does bring in some of those almost like spice notes every once in a while, but this one is definitely hoppy, that's for damn sure. I'm actually really enjoying this. This is probably one of the more spice hoppy Mosaic IPAs that I think I've had ever. And I think it's mixing really well. It's not too sweet. Definitely has like a nice juicy mouthfeel. Doesn't really leave any oiliness to it like you would get from your West Coast IPAs. But yeah, there's definitely some like earthy notes to it. Very, very earthy. Surprise for using a nice fruity hop like Mosaic is. But there's definitely a lot of those, I wouldn't say bitter notes, but definitely those like deeper, earthier kind of notes in there that kind of remind you of like piney walking through a forest kind of situation. I think it's absolutely delicious. Definitely a nice one for sure. It's definitely a nice change of pace from a lot of the Mosaic IPAs that I think I've had. And I think it's mixing really nice in this. The more you drink it, the more the fruity flavors tend to like linger on the end. Definitely a little bit of citrus, not too crazy, but like the fruity notes I'm getting, maybe a little bit of pineapple and mango kind of situation. But overall, having that like nice kind of danky, earthy hoppiness hit you up front, almost giving you all those cannabis-like characteristics are working out really, really nice with this one. It's not really boozy in any way at all, but even though it's an 8.5%, you're not really going to taste a lot of booziness when it comes to around that realm. But you're going to feel it more if you wanted to have one or two of these guys. But overall, the flavors in this one are pretty damn delicious. So let's look over here at Untapped. And yeah, the description of this guy is pretty self-explanatory. It's a New England style double IPA with Mosaic hops. I really enjoy when breweries kind of play around with a single hopped IPA, just because you're letting a specific hop kind of speak for itself. You don't want to get like conflicting flavors with different hops that might not manage well together. But I think they did a really good job with just letting this hop speak for itself, bringing out some of those different kind of flavors that this hop brings off. And I think it's a very, very nice change of pace than your normal Mosaic hop single double IPA. So let's look here at Untapped, and let's see if we can find a similar beer to this guy. So there's a couple options that they have over here, which is nice, is that 3 of them are Illinois breweries that actually, I think they have some distribution around in other states. I know one of them at least do, if I remember correctly. So we got 2 beers here from Hop Butcher for the World, which is another Illinois brewery that I'm a really big fan of. And this one is, first one we're looking at is their Triple Grind, which is a Citra Mosaic Hop Triple IPA, which is definitely going to bring off a little bit more of those boozier kind of notes, due to it being a 10.5%. And then we got the Blazed Orange, which is a nice double 7.5% IPA, but that was Citra and Strata hops. That one's just going to be a juicy citrus bomb, so I'm really not going to suggest that, even though the Blazed Orange is pretty damn delicious. We got one here from 93 Octane Brewery, which I've reviewed stuff from them before. They're really nice. Another brewery here in Illinois, and this one is a well-balanced dry hop with Mosaic and Simcoe. So yeah, I can see this one probably being similar. Let's see. We got one from Phase 3 here, which is called the Sticker Pack. I think I've mentioned the Sticker Pack before when it comes to just looking at a similar beer for a previous beer I did a review on. And the next one we're going to look at here is the St. Aaron Brewing Tilt-A-Whirl, which is a triple IPA with Nelson Sauvin, Citra, and Motica hops. That one's definitely going to have, I think that one might have some nice cannabis-like characteristics, some earthy tones. But then with this Citra, those are going to be bringing a little bit more citrusy flavors. So this one might be close. And let's see, St. Aaron Brewing is located. Okay, so it's another Illinois brewery. So this entire similar beers list is full of Illinois breweries, which I love to see, because I'm hoping Mikerphone, since their distribution has gotten a lot better when it comes to just seeing them everywhere here, I'm hoping that their distribution gets to the point to where they're starting to get sold in other states. But who knows? We'll look down the activity and see if we see any out-of-state check-ins or not. But let's see here. If out of all these I had to choose to be the most similar, I'd probably pick this, it's going to be tough. Either the Pride Piper from 93 Octane or what is this Tilt-A-Whirl again? Tilt-A-Whirl, yeah, I think that one might be good as well. But of course, there's a bunch of other breweries that make single hopped IPAs. I know Anchorage makes a lot of them. Who else? there's just so many damn breweries that make single hopped IPAs. So let's go through Untappd again and see what other breweries kind of have the same realm of being a double New England hazy kind of situation. So let's see. Of course, Untappd has a really cool thing where you can kind of look through your beer history and kind of look through different styles. So let's see. Let's go through this one. And so we got listings from, of course, I had the Hoptopus that I reviewed from Crystal Lake. We got stuff from Pig Mines. Fifth Frame Brewing Company has some stuff with this style. Dreckers, Spindle Tap, Noon Whistle here in Illinois, Jester King, Icarus, Three Sons. What else are we looking at here? Elmhurst, another local one. Aurora Brewing Company. What else? Let's see. Black Stack Brewing, Moore Brewing, Weldworks, Jackie O's, Mountains Walking, Celestial Beer Works, KCBC, Bree City, Toppling Goliath. There are a bunch of breweries out there that make this kind of style of IPA, just a nice double New England hazy. So you might find some varieties within this kind of style of beer that you would really enjoy. It's just for me, this style is just a nice, super easy drinking style of beer, just because a lot of the times they won't let those kind of earthy, kind of hoppy flavors kind of speak for itself. A lot of New England hazy IPAs lead forward with a lot of citrus, really hazy, really juicy, leaving a lot of fruity and flavors and aromas coming through it that make them really, really nice and delicious to drink during the summer as well. But overall, with this kind of having that same style without the clearing agents to clarify the beer, that's how you usually get hazy IPAs. You're not adding clearing agents, so it's a really nice kind of murky, hazy kind of color to it. I don't think that they crazy dry hop this one, because if it was crazy dry hop, this would have more of a really, really stronger haze to it. So maybe it was like a single dry hop or maybe a double dry hop. I'm not 100% sure, but if it was like a triple dry hop, that would definitely be a lot more of a haze to this one, in my opinion, just because there's less filtration and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they did a pretty damn good job with this one. Like I said before, I really like the nice change of pace of what you normally taste in a New England hazy when it comes to just very fruity forward. You're still getting the fruity notes in this one, but you're not getting it up front. For this one, it's actually lingering on the back note, where those kind of lighter fruity notes come through, to where they let the forest floor, piney, dank, resiny flavors hit the palate first, just to kind of wake you up and like, oh, this is a nice double IPA. And I think they did a really nice job just kind of bringing that along with it. So let's look back here at Untappd. Of course, like I stated before, it's an 8.5% ABV, which I would not consider this beer sessionable one bit, just because even though it might taste like an easy drinker, you're going to have one or two of these and you're definitely going to be feeling something. That's for damn sure. So keep that in mind. My threshold for sessionable beers cuts off around like a 7.5%. I think you will be okay with drinking like maybe one or two of those and have no problem. And with over 2,473 ratings, this one has an average rating of 4.15 out of 5, which is pretty damn good. And I think we have at least one person on my friends list who checked this one. Okay, so we got two people. So when my dad purchased this, he went over to Beer on the Wall in Arlington Heights, Illinois, because they have a pretty damn good selection over there. And I think it's one of those liquor stores that actually have like some taps open to where you can actually sit in there, have a beer and all that kind of stuff, as well as purchase beer, which I think is a really cool thing. He checked it and he gave it a 3.75 out of 5, which he's definitely picky when it comes to how he rates his IPAs, because he's an IPA lover like I am. So he really has to like something to give it that above 4 rating when it comes to an IPA. And then we got another person on my friends to check this one in. Her name's Stephanie, and she gave it a 4.25, purchased at Mikerphone Brewery and Tap Room. So she had it over at the brewery. So 4.25 with her check-in. But let's look here at my the global rating. Let's see what other people had to say, and possibly we might be able to find some out-of-state purchases with this one. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we do, because I think Mikerphone deserves it. So we got a 3.5 out of 5 rating here, purchased at Beer on the Wall. Let's see, we got a 4.25 here. Person drank this at Iron and Glass Manuka, which is in Manuka, Illinois. What else we got here? We got a 4 out of 5 purchased at Beer on the Wall. Let's see, we got a 3.75 here purchased at the Beer and Now, which is in Lisle, Illinois. 4 out of 5 here saying tasty, tad sweet, and a bit one-dimensional. It's a very little head on an albeit very careful pour. So this person thought it was a pretty damn sweet one. I'm not thinking it's really crazy sweet at all. I don't see when he says it's one-dimensional. I understand what he's saying when it's one-dimensional because there's a single hop in there. You're going to get specific those flavors that single hop brings off. It's just pretty much what it's going to be. So, of course, in my opinion, you kind of have to expect single hopped IPAs to kind of be one-dimensional because there isn't going to be any overlapping of flavors from different hops working together and all that kind of stuff. You're just getting specific flavors from the actual hops that they use when it comes to the hoppiness from it. But let's see here. We got a 4.25 out of 5 here, purchased on Beer on Central. Another Illinois check-in. So it looks like we're not seeing any out-of-state ones, which is kind of upsetting, but oh well. What else we got? We got a 4.75 here. We got a 4 out of 5 saying fruity sweet, but hard-hitting hop notes. Yeah, I wouldn't say this one's fruity sweet in my opinion, but there's definitely hard-hitting hoppy flavors with this one, that's for sure. What else? We got another 3.75. Let's do 2 more after that. 4.5 purchased at Iron Glass Manuka. And the final one we're going to look at here is a 4.25 out of 5. Picture looks like they're kids in the background just making a funny face in them, which I think is pretty funny. But overall, yeah, pretty good check-ins. A couple 3.75s, but I think there's definitely a lot of 4 and 4.25 check-ins on this one, which is pretty damn good. That tells you a lot of what kind of response this beer is getting. So with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on Iron with this guy. Yeah, I definitely agree, Face Me. That's pretty much the whole point of a single hopped IPA. You kind of want it to be one-dimensional. You want people to be able to taste the flavors that one specific hops brings off, because a lot of the times there are specific hops that work the best when it comes to single hopped IPAs. Of course, Mosaic's one of them, Citra's one of them. I would probably say Galaxy's on that list as well, because that's more of a complex hop store that would still give you really complex flavors in it as well, just because there's so much going on with that specific hops. But overall, yeah, when it comes to a single hopped IPA being one-dimensional, you kind of have to expect that. So yeah, I definitely agree with you, Face Meat, on that aspect of it. But let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings on Arn with this guy. Now I'm going to take another sip because this one's delicious. So, first thing we like to look at is can art. Okay, now that I've taken a few more sips, having it start to warm up a little bit, get more close towards the room temperature, not as cold. A little bit more of those mango kind of flavors, the tropical fruit flavors are speaking a little bit more up front, but still getting that heavy kind of piney, dank flavor up there as well. But back to the can art with this one. Like I stated at the beginning of the review, Mikerphone does a lot of stuff when it comes to their themes on how they do things, just because everything they make is inspired by music. The can art is definitely inspired by music as well, because I think this is absolutely fantastic. Having that saxophone with all the colors. It looks like somebody's pouring like a science experiment in there. It looks like almost like flowers are pouring in there. Or maybe like a cloudiness that you would expect from like somebody putting a dye in like a clear liquid. So you're getting those like almost like colors going through a clear liquid kind of look, which I think is really, really cool, even though it kind of looks like flowers. And I just like the outline of those colors. Definitely pulls you into the whole saxophone part of it. Of course, the Special Sauce logo is really nice, having those different colors in there as well, having the yellows, blues, and those pinkish purples in there. And I think they actually did a pretty good job with taking up almost all of the real estate they had on here. I mean, they really didn't leave that much empty space on here. I mean, you could say that's a little bit empty, but most of the can is taken up with can art, which is really good on the marketing side of it. Of course, I really like that they put the Imperial Yeast logo on there. They like telling people that, hey, we get our yeast from Imperial Yeast. If you want to get your stuff from them, I'm trying to think if we get our stuff from Imperial or not. I think we do. So I like that they promoted the yeast company on there as well. But overall, yeah, can art is really nice on this one, I think. This is definitely one that would catch my attention at a liquor store or bottle shop, just because I'm very music heavy when it comes to a lot of things I do in my life. So seeing something with music on it is always going to be something that kind of gives my attention to it. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give this one a solid 4.25 out of 5 for can art. Really nice. Definitely something that if I saw it at like a Benny's or any kind of bigger liquor store or something, it would definitely catch my attention. That's for damn sure. So, let's see here. If I went over to Mikerphone Brewing Company and got this beer in a flight, would I get another one? Yeah, I think I would. Like I said before, I really like the kind of change of pace this one is from your normal single hopped IPA. I think they The flavors one are really nice. It's not too heavy. It's not too. There's not really any crazy bitterness. So you're definitely gonna have to enjoy like danker, earthier notes a little bit. But of course, you'll still get that fruitiness coming through. I guess you get on the back end right up front, and then when it starts kind of warming up a little bit, those fruity flavors start coming through a little bit more on like the middle to kind of the end of the sip and all the drinking a part of it. But yeah, I think this one's a pretty damn solid one from Mikerphone. I've had a few beers from Mikerphone before, but never something that I've been able to bring a can home and take it out of the fridge. I've always usually had to get at the brewery and all that kind of stuff. But overall, I think they did a really, really good job with this one. So I would definitely get one of these again if I got in a flight. Probably do its own. I would say this would probably be a 10-ounce pour, most likely. And 100% Ian, yeah. Because I'll have a little story before I start getting the final rating and everything. So when we last week we brewed our Hefeweizen, and it's your normal light grain bill, easy drinking beer. But what made it bring off those hef flavors of just normal flavors that you would get out of a Hefeweizen is that Hefeweizen yeast. So, and I think, of course, the malt, the grains that you use in there plays a factor as well. But the yeast that you use in an IPA is definitely really important because that helps bring in flavor as well. So they maybe have used a different yeast with this one from your normal kind of New England style IPA. So I think that's really cool that may have playing around with yeast kind of cultures in your beer can completely change a beer, because you can have this same recipe and use a completely different yeast culture and you'll have a completely different beer. That's what I love about beer, and how you can accidentally do something and create something magical out of it. So with that being said, I think my final rating on this guy, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Really good. I would definitely recommend pick this one up if you're a fan of single hopped IPAs. Of course, if you're in the Chicagoland area and this is definitely another brewery that I put on the list of, hey, let's go over there and try some of their stuff. They're slowly rising on my list of breweries that if you come around the Chicagoland area, you need to try, because there's definitely some on that list to where I consider, of course, like Old Irving to be one of those breweries, Hop Butcher, Imperial Oak. There's a bunch of breweries out there that I consider some of the best breweries in the state. Of course, more being on that list as well. Yeah, see, that was a Belgian IPAs. Yeah, I don't think I'm upset that fad died. I would like to kind of experiment to make that kind of Belgian IPA thing a little bit better, because there's probably things you can do, of course, using the Belgian yeast. I feel like most likely if they would have, because you can use a lot of the Belgian malts and kind of oversee like Munich malts and all that kind of stuff to make some interesting more flavors and all that kind of stuff. But I think a Belgian IPA might be an interesting thing that I might want to play around with in the future. So who knows? I might try to make a Belgian IPA better than what you remember it being, Face Meat. So who knows? But yeah, 8 out of 10 is where I'm going to leave this one. Another delicious beer coming from Mikerphone. So big shout out to them for coming out with this one. I'm definitely going to try to get more stuff in my possession to do reviews on for them, plus getting some beers from them to kind of doing giveaways for the Patreon and all that stuff, because I want to have you guys have the availability to try some stuff from them, because they're on the rise over here in Illinois. I could see maybe within the next year or so there being pretty good distribution outside of the state as well. But other than that, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Of course, before you leave, if you want to hit me up, shoot me follows and friend requests on all my social media platforms when it comes to what I'm doing with craft beer. Of course, you can shoot me a follow on Instagram. That's where you'll find out what I'm beer reviewing that day, plus some shenanigans I'm doing over at the brewery when it comes to either kegging, transferring a beer over from the fermenter into the bright tank, kegging. Well, what else? Did I said kegging already? Maybe cleaning kegs, of course. All that kind of stuff. So try to be more up to date when it comes to being active, showing a little bit more behind the scenes stuff at the brewery, and I think I'm doing an okay job at that so far. But definitely going to cut once more different things are starting to happen, because I think the last few posts that I did have been just brewing, because that's what we've been doing. So try to give more behind the scenes looks at what's happening when it comes to other aspects of what happens at the brewery. So if you want to shoot me a follow over there, link to my profile is down in the description below. And of course, if you want to shoot me a friend request on Untappd as well, you guys hear me talk about Untappd all the time. I think it is a fantastic platform. You can check in beers, get badges, all that kind of stuff. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers, because that's pretty much what it is in my opinion. And it's a very, very used platform. I'm surprised Mr. Rep Beard is not Untappd yet, because you're starting to play around with more drinking beers, and you're becoming more of a fan of IPAs and all that kind of stuff. So I think we need to see Mr. Rhett Beard show up on Untapped pretty damn soon, so he can check in beers and enjoy the fun with the rest of us, and then he can join the tagging crew of whenever we drink beer, like how me, Ian, Face Meat, Kentucky, Duchess, Sean, Lizzie, the Typhons. There's a bunch of us on Untapped just drinking beers and having a good time. So, and plus we've created a little bit of a community over here to where we always tag each other when it comes to what we're drinking, just to give everybody a heads up of, hey, look what I'm drinking today. But it's a super fun time over there. So if you want to shoot me a friend request on Untapped, that is also down in the description below as well. And last but not least, I'm always going to recommend the best way to support me if you guys choose to do so, besides watching my videos and liking them, all that kind of stuff, to head over to the Patreon. We're doing some pretty cool things over there. And, of course, it will give me the opportunity to get more beer in my hands for you guys, and then it will help me get more beer out to you guys as well with the monthly giveaways that I do of Illinois exclusive craft beer. So every month, if you join the Patreon, you have, depending on the tier you join, you have specific amount of entries each month into that raffle. So let's just say if you join the $5 tier, you get 1 entry. Second tier, you get 2 entries. And then the highest tier, you get 3 entries in. So having your opportunity to win a 4-pack picked out by me specifically is greatly higher if you join a specific tier. So, but the Patreon is probably going to be the best way for you to support me and help me do what I do. So it would be greatly appreciated if you want to join. Just join the crew, because the more people I get to join, the more chances I'll be able to get a Discord going eventually, possibly start working on merch, of course, glassware, coasters, koozies, all the kind of stuff. I want to get some of that stuff out here for you guys, but of course, having a little bit more help, I don't want to say help, but a little bit more kind of things going my way when it comes to getting a little more income will definitely be helpful in that aspect of it as well. So if you want to help support me, help me do what I do, the Patreon is going to be the best way to do so. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today. So again, thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.